Next Gen makes Michigan great once again. One of the best Michigan races I frankly have seen in a very long time. What a race from start to finish, and we had a winner that completely blew off the playoff picture right off the hinges, breaking a 65 race winless streak, that being Kevin Harvick. But it wasn't easy. Like I said, it was a very chaotic day. I mean, stage one, Bubba Wallace started on pole. He led every race until the competition caution. After that, we had the big one. On a restart in turn number one, J.J. Yaley stayed out on the racetrack in the middle of the pack, either got tight, something happened, but he lost a ton of speed, held up traffic, bringing involved a 9-car incident involving playoff contenders like Austin Cindric, who slammed into the outside wall a ton. Eric Almirola trying to get into the top 16. Kyle Busch once again having another horrible race go his way. Ricky Harrison Burns and Todd Gilliland, Michael McDowell, Ty Gibbs, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. were also involved. I mean, like I said, Austin Cindric took a hellacious accident, but luckily he was okay. And Kyle Busch, I was thinking, because Toyota was so strong in this race, that this would be a race for Kyle Busch to finally break that streak, because with this accident, this is Kyle Busch's 7th consecutive race where he's finished outside the top 10. That's the worst stretch he's ever had in his entire career. In fact, the last seven races, including this race, he has had an average finish worse than 20. I'm pretty sure 25th is going to be around that range. So he has had a horrible, horrible stretch of races, and this does not do any better, especially when considering who won. Kyle Busch, he's kind of close. But yeah, Bell won stage one. It was a fairly calm stage. Stage two, I mean, it was an excellent stage. We had battles all over the racetrack, lots of side-by-side 3-wide battles. Every part of the racetrack, from at the front of the pack to the middle to the back of the pack. Chastain led the early part for Bell and Hamlin, and he had a 3-car battle between those three, which was awesome to watch. Incredible racing. We knew that dirty air was still a factor because Toyota clearly had the faster cars. Dirty air was still an issue, but still, it was such an improvement over the previous races in the last years of the Gen 6 car. Like I said, one of the best Michigan races in a very long time. Dirty air was still a factor. You had to run different lanes, but even at Michigan, which was still a fairly smooth track because of the repave that they had, still a fairly smooth track, but you had drivers driving in different lanes. You can run on the bottom, middle, or top. Again, just great racing overall. Cole Custer and Tyler Reddick, they did not have great days on lap 99. Custer, some reason, just blew up. On fire. His left front tire just explodes in a burst of flames. Unlike Buescher, he had to get out of the car. This was a lot more serious, so Custer had to get out of the car. He was okay. And then around that same time, Tyler Reddick reported that he was losing his engine, tried to stay out as long as he can until he had to officially come into the garage and end the day. Hamlin, who had one of the best cars today, was able to win stage 2. And stage 3 continued once again between Toyota dominating the race, but this time you had Trackhouse in the mix, which was kind of shocking because Trackhouse didn't show really any speed in practice and qualifying, and here they are up front. And it's both drivers of Suarez and Ross Chastain, who suffered 2 uncontrolled tires in the previous stage under pit stops. He's back in the mix. With those 3 racing very hard, and it was great racing. So much fun to watch. With them racing, that brings the 11 car of Hamlin, because those 3 got out to a league of their own. Hamlin was farther back, but with those 3 racing, Hamlin was brought into the mix. Now you got a 4-car battle for the lead. Then the final round of pit stops begin. 44 to go. Trackhouse, they pit, they come out nose to tail. But then catastrophe strikes. On the same lap, Trackhouse pits. They come back on the racetrack. Christopher Bell pulls a very dumb block. That's all you can say. It's a very dumb block he pulled on the front stretch. Comes up right in front of Ross Chastain. Bell goes into wall, bringing out the caution. Which brings us to the final restart. On the final restart, it was Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick had a top 10 day. Didn't have a race-winning day, but he was there. Showed moments. But then all of a sudden, when the final restart comes in, he's in position to win, and he's got Bubba Wallace to his inside. On that final restart, Harvick got out, got a good launch from Larson, I believe Logano behind him as well. Bubba Wallace did not get a good restart, and he ended up coming behind, I think, Larson and Logano. So Bubba was 4th, I believe, 4th or 3rd after that restart. He was able to get by Larson. That was easy, but then he had the Alonso of NASCAR, Joey Logano, who clearly was slower than Bubba. Bubba had a much faster car, but Bubba just could not get around him for the life of him. I think it took him like maybe 10, 12 laps or so for him to finally get by Joey Logano. But when they were racing, because Logano is so slow, he held everyone back, and he allowed Harvick just to get away. Harvick built up to a 4-second lead by the time Bubba got by Logano, which was, I think, 16 laps ago, but I think by that time, Bubba already used up his stuff trying to get by Logano, and he posed zero threat to Kevin Harvick. Harvick was able to scoot away and ease into a win. His first win in 69 races, Bristol in the fall of 2020. That was the last time he went to victory lane. It's his 5th Michigan win in the last 7 races. Absolutely incredible. I believe this is his 59th career Cup Series win, 10th on the all-time win list for most career wins. And what's shocking about this, absolutely shocking about this, is that before this race, he led only 11 laps in the entire season. To go from that to winning one of Harvick's biggest wins, I think, in his entire career. Absolutely clutch performance. Wasn't the closer type of performance that we saw from Harvick in his earlier career, but still, he came from out of nowhere. No one had him on the list to win. Somehow pulls it off. So yeah, Harvick wins. Bubba Wallace finishes in 2nd place. Bubba had a really great car. 4th consecutive top 10 finish. A lot of momentum on the 23 team. Denny Hamlin. Now, Denny Hamlin, he finished 3rd, but I'm still in disbelief he finished 3rd because on that final pit stop, because the caution came out with Christopher Bell, everyone came in for pit stops. Denny Hamlin was in the top 5. He was 2nd or 3rd before that crash came out. But unfortunately, he got caught with a safety violation because of this moment, not the tire coming out of the box. That wasn't the issue. The issue was this guy, the guy that got into the box. He went onto the pit road side of the wall. He got onto the right side. Because of that, he's on track. Because of that, that's too many men over the wall. That's a penalty. Hamlin was sent to the back. I don't know how in the world, but he somehow managed to drive his way back to 3rd place. It was incredible. Logano and Blaney, they finished 4th and 5th, surprisingly, because the Fords, again, they showed no speed. That's what made Harvick's win so shocking, is that Fords didn't show any speed, and they somehow have 3 drivers in the top 5. Great recovery for the Ford drivers. Truex Jr. in 6th place. Kind of surprised he didn't run better than I thought he would run. Kyle Larson, another driver that had an eventful day, was caught speeding at the end of stage 2. Spent the entire stage trying to get his way back up towards the front. Eric Jones, very solid 8th place finish for him. Alex Bowman, a quiet 9th. And how about Ty Gibbs in his 3rd career Cup start? Brings home a top 10 finish. This kid's ready for Cup. 11th, Chase Elliott. Surprised to see him so low on the list. William Byron, 12th. The Dillon brothers, 13th and 14th. Brad Keselowski rounds to the top 15 with his teammate Chris Buescher in 16th. Here's some other notables. You have Chase Briscoe in 20th. Ross Chastain finishes 24th because of that crash. 25th, Daniel Suarez. He had a tire go down with 4 laps to go. Bell comes out to finish in 26th. And 27th on back. These were drivers involved in that lap 29 crash, with the exception of Tyler Reddick and Cole Custer. They finished 29th and 31st. Noah Gragson, another driver that had a really good run early in stage 2. He was up running inside the top 5. He had a real good car. Unfortunately, with 12 to go in stage 2, slid up and smacked the wall, breaking the toe leak and taking him out of contention. And then, like I said, the other drivers, you had Burton 32nd, Stenhouse 33rd, Almirola 34th, Kyle Busch 36th, and Austin Cindric finishes dead last. And here's a look at the playoff grid with 3 races to go. Richmond, Watkins Glen, and Daytona. Look at the playoff picture now. Martin Truex Jr., who is 4th in the regular season standings, is now out of the playoffs. Minus 19 below the cut line. Blaney, the sole survivor currently at the moment that does not have a win inside the top 16. We have 15 different winners. That is the most all time in 23 races. This 2022 season has been absolutely insane. Truex is the only driver that can make it on points. Jones minus 190, Almirola minus 210, and Bubba Wallace minus 235. My thoughts on this race, again, like I said, this was a fantastic race. The next gen, again, dirty air is still a factor, but the next gen proved that a lot of times it's the car, not the track. We saw a fantastic race. Again, dirty air was still a factor, but we saw some side-by-side racing, great side-by-side racing, a lot of 3-wide racing. We did still see kind of remnants of the high downforce package in the 550 days, where if you didn't make a pass, you were going to lose all your momentum. It was still, we still kind of got those types of vibes, but overall, we saw great racing, a very unexpected winner, and Man, now this is going to be very, very difficult in these final few races. I mean, like I said, you got Richmond coming up, Watkins Glen, Daytona. 3 completely different racetracks. Now, Truex, he runs good at Richmond. Bubba Wallace, they got a lot of momentum on their sides. 4 consecutive top 10 finishes on 4 different types of racetracks. Richmond could be another place where he could pull off an upset. And we also have to understand some of the other drivers like Cindric, Bowman, and even Kyle Busch that I would even consider them safe. Who knows what's going to happen in these next 3 races? I mean, more than likely, if Kyle Busch can just finish races, then he'll be fine. But, I mean, I don't know. This playoff picture has been blown wide open. And we're not done yet. I mean, we got 3 races and only 1 spot is still currently up for grabs. At the moment, we have 15 different race winners. We could definitely go into Daytona with 17 winners because, again, Blaney hasn't won. Truex hasn't won. Bubba hasn't won. By the time we get to Daytona, you can look at other drivers like Eric Jones, who runs good, Stenhouse, Keselowski. These next 3 races are going to be action-packed. And Michigan provided a lot of momentum coming into Richmond next Sunday. I mean, this race was, from start to finish, awesome to watch. I was very surprised by how fast the Toyotas were, but they got duped by the Fords and Kevin Harvick. I mean, we shouldn't count him out, but I'm pretty sure no one had him in any contention to win, and he somehow got it done. You had all the Toyotas, all but 1. Bubba was the only driver that didn't have some form of issue. Hamlin, if he didn't have that penalty, Hamlin could have won the race because how he started from the back, drove all his way up to 3rd place, was absolutely impressive to watch. So, I mean, that took him out of contention. You had Kyle Busch involved in a crash. Bell takes himself out in a crash. Truex didn't really show much speed, was just always lagging behind. Bubba was the only driver that kind of played a great race, which is unfortunate because, I mean, if you watch his interview, you could tell how heartbroken he was. And Bubba, listen, keep your head up. You had a great race. It wasn't your day. You had a great race. All right, y'all finished in the top 10 the last 4 races. You're going to win a race someday because he's being way too hard on himself, I feel like. I'm getting a lot of Chase Elliott 2016 vibes where he is way too hard on himself. You finished 2nd place. You lost to Kevin Harvick. That's not something to be ashamed of. But I can understand his frustration. But that 23 team, they are a sleeper. Richmond, Toyotas, they run real good at Richmond. Hamlin proved that. So Richmond could be a great place for Bubba to maybe pull out a win. But all I'm gotta say is this, man. But Marchek Jr. is another driver. He runs real good at Richmond. That's another track where he can pull off a win. That's why I'm saying that even though Kevin Harvick, he's in the playoffs, I'm not even counting him safe at the moment. He's in the playoffs, but I don't think he's safe at the moment. That's how crazy this playoff picture is. But man, what a race that was. Very happy with it. What would I give this race? This was an 8 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. This was a very, very, very solid race. Again, the reason why I don't give it like a 10 out of 10 was because we did see some moments where, again, dirty air, it still played a factor. It still gave me a lot of 550 horsepower vibes. Where if you don't get a run, you just fall like a rock. There was a lot of slot-in racing. Not as much as what we saw last year, or in 2020 with the high downforce package, but still, overall, very great race. I thought it was awesome to watch. Kevin Harvick, so I don't know how he won, because I didn't have him anywhere near winning this race. I thought Toyota was going to dominate. He somehow did it. So congratulations to Kevin Harvick in the 4 car. What did you think of the race? Tell me in the comment section down below. But until next time, my name is Jett from MDK. Congratulations to Kevin Harvick, your winner at Michigan.